Hey guys, take a look at this haul that I got this weekend. It inspired me to start on the same picture I used for MER-MAY. Yes, it's not MER-MAY, but when you can't stand but to love something, you can't stand to not love something. It is wonderful. So here I am using my NEOIIs. I just got them. Whoa, I'm in love with them. They're beautiful. They're smooth. They're creamy. Luscious. And as I finish up with this, one of the things that I did do is found some really good things on clearance this weekend, $25 or 25 cents, dollar here, dollar there. I'm going to do some embossing. Make sure you protect your embossing by putting down some powder. It's important that way the rest of your embossing powder does not stick to any of the other part that you may have already created or do not want it to touch. So a very good coat of this is your best friend. I'm going to use this gold embossing and the pen that I also purchased. I think it's a Ranger, I believe it is, or I might be wrong with that. But anyway, I have multiple of these, and yeah, it's a must with the embossing powder, as you know. So I'm just finishing up here, putting some of this embossing pen on. And next thing I'm going to do is set up the embossing powder. You just simply softly pour it on, and you do need to pour as much as you see here. You don't want to have to go over it and go over it and go over it. It's best to get a clean emboss from the start. So I just tap that off, and because the powder's there, it won't stick as much to the other areas. Sometimes you're lucky and it won't stick at all. It just depends. So anyway, I'm going to get that off here and get my heat gun ready to show you guys the magic. So the heat gun is actually going to start melting the embossing pen to the powder and creates a glossy type surface. This happens to be in gold. Who doesn't want gold on their mermaid tail? Holy cow, this is so cute. Just don't go anywhere. This is the coolest thing, watching this embossing, but I do have a fairly unpractical next step. So this is the third part. I found these, I think it was $1 something, and it came with 3 colors. It reminded me when I was shopping of the colors I'd love to use for my mermaid, and I'm going to get out a couple of these colors, and yep, you got it right. I'm going to make a sequins mermaid tail. I cut these in half on some of them, not all of them, just to create different dimension. I used the half pieces, went slightly over the gold embossed area, making sure there was enough room for the gold to pop out. Because I was out of glue, I just picked up some regular old Elmer's glue and decided to use that. I wanted everyone to see that doing extra in your books doesn't have to cost a ton of money. So if you made it this far, thanks for hanging out. I am just finishing up, cutting up some of these sequins and applying them to the mermaid tail. And in the meantime, if you don't mind, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment, tell me what you think. I know it's not super practical to have sequins in your book, but I do bind my books myself, and I do allow for extra space for different types of mediums that I may want to add to my book. So stay tuned and subscribe so that you can see different ways that I plan to keep these images creative. So as I'm starting to wrap this up, I realized I think I'm going to put some more embossing on this tail, and I just wanted you guys to see that it can be done in bigger spots, smaller spots, and depending on how detailed you can do an entire image this way. It can look like completely gold foiled if you would like. I just did some accent areas and it turned out to me very pretty. This reminds me, if you have a handy brush, make sure to brush off any excess embossing powder that may be left behind because it will stick. And I just wanted those little lines to be filled in, so looks like this might work.